Well, hello everybody. Hey, welcome to Sty Times here live at the Sty Shack. You betcha. Here we are. Another Sty Times, another day. Yeah. It's great to see y'all. I tell you what, we got folks out there in the chat. I'm gonna shout some of these folks out right away. It's always good to see these folks showing up. I mean, just the best people. Kathy Gahan right away. She's jumping in there with her big smiles and her smiley, lovey faces. Kathy, you're a sweetheart. And Kimberly Ferris. Yes. I always love seeing Kimberly popping up there. Yeah. Andrew Merritt. There's Andrew. Good to see you, Andrew. Lawn Dog. Good to see you. Okay. I be here, he says. Yeah. There's Gemma's Journey Grace. Awesome, sweetheart. It's good to see you. Yep. There's Dojo. Hey, my brother Dojo. He's a great YouTube buddy from the UK. Great guy. Great guy. If you're not following him, get over and check his channel out. Yeah. The Gemma's Journey Grace goes, Dojo. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. It's great to see Dojo. You want to hear from him once in a while. If he's not around all the time, that's okay. But you do want to hear that he's out there. He's still alive and kicking, and all is good. There's Lori J. Sheba B. Great to see you. Great to see you. Well, here we are, guys. Another Sty Times. Yeah. It's, for me, it's odd. It doesn't feel like a Wednesday. It doesn't feel like a Wednesday today. I don't know why. I don't As you can probably tell, Sty's in a pretty good mood today. But I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good today. I got some things done. I got a big project that I'm working on, and it's a huge project. Um, and actually, today's topic, father and son, actually will play into what I've been up to the last few days and what I'm doing right now, big project I'm on. And the dojo says, what does a Wednesday feel like? It used to feel like the middle of the week. Now that I've been retired for a few years, Wednesdays are the same as Mondays and Sundays and this day and that day. Yeah, every day seems to just be another day. The lawn dog saying, Sty, look at all your fans slipping in here at the beginning of your show. That's absolutely great. It is. I love you. You folks are great. You're wonderful, man. You are absolutely wonderful. You give this old boy purpose. I mean, I, you know, if it wasn't for YouTube, I have quite the isolated life. I really would. I really would. Yeah, I'd be holed up indoors a lot during the winter, camping a lot in the summer, and just kind of hanging out by myself. But boy, I met so many wonderful people here on YouTube that I'll never give this up. I'll never give YouTube up ever. I see Peppers and Kentucky Living's in the house. Yeah, he's been doing some challenges lately, videos. I've been watching your videos, by the way, there. Um, I like the sandwich. I wish I could eat solids like that because I'd go for that sandwich. I see Mystic Bunnies in the house saying hi to me and everybody else. You betcha. The, so many great people, so many great people. I I've gotten really lawn dog saying, oh. I have a little father and son story I might share today. There you go. There you go. There's Adventures in the Heartland. That's John. That's Mystic Bunny's better half. Well, other half. If I had to weigh better, I tell you what. No, I'm not going there. Let's get on to today's topic, father and son. I want to clarify something real quick. when I say it, that topic title, Father and Son, after the fact, I thought about it and I thought, well, it should have been father, son, and daughter, mother, son, and daughter, because it doesn't matter. What it is the topic is really about our relationships with our children and their mutual relationships in return. And I titled it Father and Son because for me, I am, oh boy, Sheba B, I'm about to have some BLTs for dinner and I'm using bacon bits as the bacon. Well, that's nothing wrong with that. Oh, I miss my BLTs. There's Joe W. Life Adventures. Awesome. Great to see you, Joey. But to me, this is a very important topic. Very important topic. My relationship with my 4 children. I have 4 children. They're all adult children now. My baby's 40 years old. The baby. Yeah. Her name is Amanda, but we always knew her as Ninny, right? Because she was a little nincompoop, and we would always nickname our kids, and oddly enough, Amanda was Ninny because she was a little nincompoop. She had a little troublemaker, boy. She was a handful. And then my oldest daughter, Mariah, we nicknamed her for some reason Mo. We called her Mo. Everybody called her Mo. I mean, like Curly Mo and Larry off of the Three Stooges. She's Mo. My youngest boy, his name is Josiah. Oddly enough, I called him Fred. He was called Fred all through his growing up years, his childhood years. Yeah, hey, Fred. Boy, he knew I was talking to him. And everybody else would call him Joe or Josiah. I called him Fred. Now, Running Water, his birth name is Don. So everybody called him Donnie. Not me. I called him Dingy. Because he was dingy. That kid was dingy. I mean, I was always asking him, now what in the world did you do that for, you dingbat? So I just started calling him Dingy, telling him, well, that was dingy that you did that. So that was my oldest boy's nickname, was Dingy. And my ex-wife used to, she didn't have a very soft spot for my oldest boy. And she said, should have named him Dip. I said, what do you mean? She says, well, every time we hit a big pothole in the road, I think of him. I say, oh, you're terrible. You're terrible. Dingy's bad enough. So I stuck with Dingy. There's bacon stuffed donut out there in the chat. It's great to see you. Joey had that new Arby's sandwich today. That's the talk of the town lately. Gemma's Journey Grace says people call me Jam Jar or Gems or Jim Jams. Well, Lori J and Sheba B, Running Water, there's actually a Sty story about that, how he got his name. It's called Meet Running Water, the Sty story. And Running Water got his nickname, and now it's his tag, YouTube tag. Everybody out there knows him as Running Water. He got that from when we lived off-grid in northwestern Montana. I take my family way up in the backcountry, and we lived off-grid. And we were approached by the state they were saying that we weren't raising our children properly by living out in the wilderness, homeschooling our kids, living off the land as much as we did, that it was a rugged lifestyle that was not appropriate for raising kids in the modern age. And one thing that they came up to visit us, to see us right where we live, and they were pretty shocked. These two folks that come up were city folks, and the first thing, there was a gal and a guy, and the gal, first thing she out of her mouth was, "Well, we heard you don't have any running water here." I said, "Well, yes, we do." And she said, "That you will have to prove to us." And I said, "Okay, I can do that right now." Well, we lived in a big one-room cabin. Across the cabin is the kids in the corner, hanging out in the corner, playing with each other, playing. And I said, "You want to see the running water?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Here it is." And I yelled out, "Running water!" Here comes my oldest boy running across the cabin. "Yeah, Dad, how much do you need?" I said, 2 gallons be fine. He grabs this yoke off of the wall. I had made a yoke for him to carry water. He grabbed that yoke off the wall and ran out the door. And just a couple minutes later, he's coming back through the door, and he's got a gallon of water hanging on each end of that yoke, carrying it on his shoulder. "Got the water, Dad." And I said, "There you go. See, we got running water." See how fast he ran out there and got that? Well, she said the same thing, and we tell people that his name's Running Water, but his nickname was Flush the Toilet. Because she said, "Well, you don't have any proper toilet facilities." I said, "We got flushing toilets." She goes, No. So I yelled out again. I said, "Hey, flushing toilet." Here comes the boy running back, and he goes, "But Dad, I usually flush that later in the day." I said, "Just wanted to prove to her that we've got both running water and a flushing toilet." So, but that's how he got that name. Hey, Justin Anderson, it's great to see you. Hello. I tell you what, I've gotten really spoiled with Cinda Lou's in the house, snuck in. Oh, it's great to see you, girl. Great to see you. I've gotten so spoiled with my new system. I've got multiple screens. I keep track of things on Facebook and here on the live stream and the YouTube chat all at the same time. It's easy to get spoiled with this system. I'm hitting the refresh button there. But back to the topic. Father and son. Well, I've learned that right now, in my current situation, my son, my oldest boy, has proven to me that my efforts as a father throughout the years has come back to my own blessings. I mean, he has been there for me, I'd say in the last year, more than I would have expected in a lifetime. But I never expected it of him, right? Keep you mentally stimulated and active mind is a fresh and healthy mind. Thank you, Lawn Dog. Yeah. It is fun. The new system is very fun. When I have the time, I like spending hours sitting here working on things because I can multitask online so much now. Um, that I love what you folks are saying out there in the chat. Bacon stuffed donuts said I had buck teeth as a kid. They called me Chipmunk. Hey, Chip. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I found when my children are growing up, they had a rough upbringing. They really did. I mean, I tried to make it as pleasant as possible, but we went through a lot of hard times. We went through good times, hard times, up and down, all around. And it was because their crazy dad wanted to experience anything and everything in life I possibly could. And I was determined if I saw something new, and it's not to my credit. If I saw something new I'd never done, I would step up. I'd give up something that was secure and a safe career, safe, I could stay in that the rest of my life. I'd give that up to go do something I've never done before. And at times that would place me and the family in a point of hardship. But my children became so, how do I put it, attuned to the need that life is bigger than all of us. So we should try to take in as much of it as we possibly can. And sometimes that means you have to struggle. And struggling doesn't have to be devastating. It doesn't have to be a hardship. Just recognize it as being a struggle. We're going to struggle for a while. But if you have each other, life is still good. Life may be hard, but it can still be good. And my children, there were times, we were just literally down and out. I remember one occasion when I told the ex-wife, we looked in the fridge, all of our kids were little ones. I think running water was maybe about 6 years old at the time. And yeah, because our baby was only about a year and a half old. But I remember looking in the cupboard and looking in the fridge and telling the wife, we're out of food. There's no food in the house. We lived in a town, and it was just a tough time. And we were out of food. Had a can of beans, pork and beans. Open that up. Dish it up to the 4 kids. We looked in there. We looked all the cupboards, everything. There's nothing. We just couldn't put anything together. And we realized there was a small loaf of raisin bread in the freezer. And that literally was all that was in the freezer, other than a tray of ice cubes. We took that loaf of raisin bread out, and the wife and I said, we'll share that. So we took that loaf, thawed it out, we cut it. You couldn't eat it. It was so dry and freezer burnt. It was so terrible. But we were so hungry that we managed to choke that down. We did have coffee, very weak coffee, because we were stretching the little bit of coffee we had. The amount of grounds you use for one pot, we would make 4 pots out of that one batch of grounds. But while those kids ate their beans, I can remember telling the 2 older kids, running water and his sister Mo, that don't worry about it, kids. Things will be better tomorrow. They they can never get so bad that they won't get better. I don't know if the kids believed me or not, but I had believed myself. Kids were fed. They were sent off to bed early that night. And I told the ex-wife, I said, you guys will be eating tomorrow. And she said, how? She said, we don't even have enough gas in the vehicle to get to town, let alone go try to get help in any sense. You know, because the little town we lived in didn't even have a proper grocery store. Well, I told her, I said, no, it'll be taken care of. I went in the other room and they come out with a shotgun. Now that sounds scary, don't it? Well, no, it wasn't scary. I was cleaning the shotgun. And I got some ammo, grabbed a couple pieces of gear, and she goes, oh no, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to put some meat on our table. And she said, well, how in the world are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to hike my butt out of town. There's this little hardwood forest on the edge of town. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to kill something for food tomorrow. I said, I'll be heading out of here before the sun comes up. And I'll come back with something to eat. Might be a couple of rabbits. It might be a deer. I don't know. We'll see what I find out there. Well, that next morning, we had a couple of things happen that delayed me sneaking out of the house, right? And I was just heading out the door. I told her, I said, there, I can get out of here. It's about 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. A car pulls in the driveway. And this fella introduces himself as the pastor of this church I'd never heard of, right? And he said, we got a call from somebody way over in Minnesota. We were living in Wisconsin. And he said, they said that they just had a gut feeling that you were kind of down and out right now, could use a lending hand. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. I said, who are they? And he said, they're anonymous. And they told us, they sent us the money, and they said, we want you to just go buy them like a month's worth of groceries. And they said, just shop like you're shopping for yourself. Now, I swear to God, this guy knew exactly what we liked. He had a station wagon, the whole back station wagon was packed full of food. We hauled all that food in the house. And my family was covered. Those kids ate like kings that day. At no time was it so hard that we were unable to put a smile on our face and say, it can only get better from here. It's going to get better. So I think back and I think about the hardships that I put my children through. Our Facebook user says, that's awesome. So awesome. There are angels. Yeah. Angels in the world. That's right. That's right. Have no doubt. Have no doubt. And I could go on. I could go on for the whole hour just talking about those hardships, but we're going to narrow it down to when we lived out in Montana. My children became so bonded. Now, they were a little older. Running Water was 9 years old, about right around 9 years old. And the others were like 7, 6, and 5. And those children grew such a tight bond, not just amongst themselves, but with us, with their parents. Everything everything in life revolved around our family. And we became so important to each other. And it was because times would be so difficult at times that you just, like, how are you going to get through another day, let alone a week, let alone another 4 months of winter in the wilderness? Well, the love and respect we had for each other and the bonds that we developed, father and son, father and daughter, mother and son, mother and daughter, those bonds, and siblings, those bonds, we found that each of us made it our purpose to make one of the others in the family put a smile on their face every day, you know, no matter how bad it got. It was always, there were days when the whole family was in tears because it was so hard. It was so hard. But somebody in our family would pop up with something that would, you couldn't help it. It'd make you laugh. It would pick you up. And all of a sudden, the worst in the world became bearable. Well, the children were young. You don't realize through your years that those bonds, those become carved in stone. Now, that's why when it comes to father and son, with my oldest boy, Running Water, he would admit to this also. Him and I, we didn't talk to each other but once, maybe twice a year for years. For years. Now, if I don't hear from him almost daily, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. And he feels the same way. He's keeping tabs on his old man all the time. That bond carried through all those years, all the adult years. Running Water became a man, went out on his own, did his own thing. And we kind of beat the song. Not everybody knows Cats in the Cradle. When you coming home, Dad? Yeah. I'm going to be like you someday. I was nervous. For many years, I felt nervous that my boys, my two sons, had followed the song Cats in the Cradle. And they grew up to be just like me. They were out doing their own thing. Did they have enough time in their lives for their pop? Would they be there? I didn't think so. I didn't fault them for that because there were many times I had to work and I was away from home and I just wasn't there for the family like I probably should have been. But now, in my later years, both of my boys have come right up to the plate and been there for me and done things for me the last several years that are amazing, are just amazing. But I hadn't had a relationship with my two boys for the longest time. My girls, it's the same way. My girls have just out of nowhere been there, popped in, said, hey, just had a gut feeling, that we needed to touch base and we just want to make sure you're okay, everything's good. And we spent so much time catching up with all the time we were apart. And you realize that all that love and respect through good, bad, and indifference. Father and son, mother and daughter, father and daughter, mother and son. Those relationships, those bondings, they may seem like they just disappear, but they don't. They don't. They're there. The I can't believe it. I got a phone ringing somewhere. Well, guess what? We're going to let that ring. I don't care. I'm doing this. Usually I have that phone muted and in the other room. We're going to get on with this topic. We're going to get Lori J. and Sheba B. loves that song. Cats in the Cradle is great. And it's a very, I mean, that's got a definite, strong story behind that song. But we're at the halftime. I got to shout out my channel members. I have to. It only takes less than a minute. It's only 50 seconds long, I believe. And we'll be right back. I'll be right here. So don't go anywhere. Hang on tight, guys. Well, I'm just taking a quick look at the chat. I want to thank Rebecca Felter so much. Rebecca, it's so good to see you, for sharing it out. That's great. The Tim from Kirk Whipper Voyager Center is out there. Awesome. Awesome seeing you folks. And let's see. I know there's a couple others. Ingalls family's here. Hey, great to see you. Nadrukwi. I can't pronounce it. It is so awesome to see you. Been coming back constantly. You're just wonderful. Thank you. And King Bluto popped in. There he is. Hey, hey. Saying good evening, all. Yeah, it's a good evening. It's a good evening. But now, oh, Shark Home Brewing's in the house. Great to see you. Now, that's one thing I have to say. It's hard for me at times to get on this topic because I know so many people. I have so many acquaintances out there that don't have that kind of father-son or mother-son or mother-daughter or daughter-mother or daughter-father relationship. They don't have that bonding. They had a very hard childhood and their parents weren't the best to them and they went through very hard times. And so when I get on this topic, I think of folks that are in that situation. And I'll go back to father and son relationships. Sons that, boy, they can't stand their fathers, man. They say their fathers were mean and cruel and that, or their father wasn't there for them. And I think of that and I feel bad. I feel bad. It's one of those situations where it's like telling somebody that you know is having the worst situation in their life they'll ever have, and you're telling them how good your life is. Your life is so good. Oh, I'm so happy. I got the best wife. My children are the best behaved. I got the best job. I got this. I got that. Life is beautiful. But the person you're saying it to, they grew up in misery. They didn't bond with their parent. They don't understand what the heck you're even talking about. How can that be? How can that be? And it breaks my heart when I think of folks that had to go through life that way. I grew up with a very, very tight bond with my father. I only had my father for the first 12 years. He passed away when I was 12 years old. But I had more bonding and more love and respect for him in that 12 years than so many others have had with their parents their whole lifetimes. And that's hard for me to accept. It's hard for me to accept that people didn't get to share that kind of life's experience. And I try to tell those folks, and a lot of times, I hate to go there, but a lot of times you can see that in them, because a lot of those folks that didn't bond with their parent, with either one of their parents, aren't bonding with their own children either. And it's because they don't know. They don't even realize. They wonder, why don't my kid like me? Well, it might be because you're being like your father was towards you. Maybe you need to think about that. You need to let the fact that that's your child and the love you have for that child, you need to let that be reflected in the way you deal with that child. I was hard with my kids. My kids will admit it. When my kids get mad at me, they're all adults. Like I said, my baby's 40. Running water's 45. I've had all four of my kids say, oh, that wasn't right. You were such a mean dad. You did this, you did that. I told them, and I always try to remind them, okay, there were bad times. There were times dad wasn't the best dad, right? Well, what about the good times? Did the good times outweigh the bad times? Was I that bad? Was I that bad of a father? All four of my children have come back to me and said, Dad, you weren't that bad. You weren't that bad. You were better than you were worse. That's all I wanted to hear. Because I was and am far from perfect. I'm far from perfect. And did I make mistakes as a father? Oh, you bet. You bet I did. Did my son make mistakes? I might not want to own up to them, but yeah, both my boys, both my girls. Did they make mistakes? Yeah. But that's the way life goes. And we get beyond those mistakes that we each make. And we don't. If we can't get beyond our mistakes, then that bond breaks down and we don't have it. And when we need each other, we're not there. And that's the one thing through life that we learned is when in need, when someone in your family is truly in need, try to be there. Try to be there for them. It may not be that you can give them money or material things, or but your support, be there. And that father son, mother daughter, blah 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 relationship, that bond just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then in the days of crisis, lo and behold, there they are. They're there for them. It's very important. It's very important. And I believe that that's part of what's tore down the fiber of our society is we're losing those father son, mother daughter, mother son, father daughter bonds. We're losing those. So many people are going, I just don't understand where my kids are coming from. And the kids are going, mom and dad, they're nuts. They're crazy. The yeah, the Shiva B is saying sometimes things are so tight they don't have time to bond with your children. I don't agree. I don't agree. I've been there. I've been at the top. I've been at the bottom several times in my lifetime. We bonded tighter when things were so tight that I had to give all my attention to just putting a meal on the table. I didn't have time for my family, except every time I come in contact with them, my kids, I might be just working my frickin' tail off 18 hours a day trying to put some food on our table. But one of my kids walks by, I'd grab them, and I'd act like I'm being mean. I'd grab them, and they'd go, what? Like, what did I do? And I'd give them a big hug. Slap them on the butt and say, go play. I'm busy. And go back to what I was doing. I can't accept from anybody a position of, I just didn't have the time to bond with my children. Sometimes it only takes a moment, just a single moment. And you can create a huge bond just in that moment. I remember one time my oldest daughter, she was just a little girl at the time. She was about 5 years old. I had a dock business with a partner, and my partner was a brutal, mean fellow. We had a major thunderstorm going through. My ex-wife and I were in the shop, and we were milling lumber, right, for the docks. I was running a big planer. She was routing. We had this huge routing system, and she was routing all the edges of the lumber because we had a dock order and we had to get this dock out. Well, we knew that there was going to be storms, but we couldn't shut down. And the kids were there. Well, that was a big number one rule. No children, no, mine, his, nobody's children are allowed inside that shop. That shop was so doggone dangerous. We just didn't want our children hurt, right? Well, this nasty thunderstorm came through. All the kids ran to the house, except for my youngest girl, or my oldest girl, I think. Like I said, she was about 5 years old. They ran in, left her outside. Big bolt of lightning actually hit right in the yard outside of our shop, not far from her at all. It scared her to death, and she ran into the shop, and she ran into the corner of this big room, ran into the corner, and here comes my partner into the shop, and he sees her in that corner. I had just seen her just run in, and here he came. He runs over and he starts yelling at her, you get out of this shop. I walked over and I took him by the scruff of the neck, by the shirt, slammed him up against the wall. I said, you ever jump down my daughter's throat like that again, I said, that little girl is scared to death of what's going on out there. She came in here because she didn't know where else to go. Otherwise, she wouldn't be in here. He said, doesn't matter. Rules are rules. I said, well, here's a new rule. You ever jump down the throat of one of my children like that again, and I'll clean the house with you. Well, I hate to say it, but within a month's time, we shut the business down. My daughter didn't forget that. It was just a moment. I bet you it didn't take 2 minutes, that whole confrontation. My ex-wife went over, coddled her little, took her around and up in the house to be safe with the other children. But my daughter never forgot that. She saw it as Dad came to my rescue. 2 minutes. It stuck with her the rest of her life. And to me, it just proved to me that we always have 1 minute or 2 minutes. People that say, no, I don't have a single minute to spend doing something for my child. I am so busy just trying to feed that kid. I don't have a moment. No. Don't go there with Sty. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. When I was in the hospital, right after my open heart surgery, it hurt, man. I was in pain. It was miserable. 3 of my children were able to make it to the hospital. Running Water wasn't able to. He was way out on the road somewhere, driving over the road truck. The other 3 made it to the hospital. All 3 of them can recall. They come in and they're just, oh, Dad, how you doing? And I go, hey, catch me up. How are things going with you? Are you okay? Is everything okay? I was in the hospital because I was dying. But in my heart, my concern was those children. So I was going to take a moment of this recovery and at least let those kids know I still give a shit about you. I want to know that I care about you, and I want you to know that. Not even realizing that they were there caring about me. You have to get that mindset that your children need to become the most important thing in your heart. They may not be the most important thing in your life, the whole picture of your life, but they got to be one of the most important things in your heart. That yes, in the Lord, kids see what you do or done for them as they get older. That's it. That realization comes as they get older. They go, gosh, I remember when such thing happened. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool that Mom stepped up for me or Dad stepped up for me. They were there for me. Yeah, single parenting is tough, is difficult, definitely, definitely. And I've seen some awesome single parenters. I mean, there's folks that they were born for it, I think. I mean, they're just awesome parents, and they're all on their own, doing their own. Yeah. I think that's probably the most valuable thing that I've accomplished in my whole life was instilling in my children that bond. that lifelong, forever bond. And I've done things where I thought, um, hey, Spicy, everything Spicy's out in the chat. And he's going, hope you had a good stream. This Sty Times is always a good stream. Yeah, love them. I love doing Sty Times. Hey, we're going to change the topic just a little bit, being that we only have about 10 minutes left of the show. I mentioned way in the beginning that I was working today on a special project. I'm up to 215 Sty stories right now, and I still got quite a few of them left. I got enough to finish out 2022, to finish out the year. But then they're going to run out. They will run out. Maybe new stories coming up. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen in the world, right? And there'll be stories about what happened last week, that kind of thing. But I'll have about 250 or more stories. So what we're doing in Running Water, and that goes to the father and son topic this evening, is I'm taking every single video of every single Sty story, all 215 of them. I got 4 of them done today, just starting this project, and it's going to be a chore. I'm creating a playlist that's going to have all the Sty stories, all 200 plus of them. They'll be done in volumes and chapters. Each volume will consist of so many chapters. Each chapter will consist of 4 groups of Sty stories. Each chapter will have, each chapter will have 4 Sty stories per chapter. They are all edited and whittled down, tightened up, so they're as short as possible. And I'm going to be posting those as videos. And there will be an archive of every Sty story where you can go in and find a volume and a chapter and say, I'm going to watch that group of Sty stories. And you can watch 4 of them in a row in about a half hour, 45 minutes, depending on the length of the Sty stories. There's another purpose behind that. When it's finished, all of those 200 plus are all going to be converted from voice to text. They will then be edited. And Running Water, he's a amateur author. He's working with me on this. It'll all be converted to the written form and published by volume. And we're going to be self-publishing. And all the Sty stories will also, when we get that done, our intent is to make it available as audio Kindle volumes, available on Kindle. And also, we want to do the volumes on an ebook series. So it's like Kindle, but it's audiobooks. So you'll have all those Sty stories you can get on an audiobook and just listen to them in your headphones, or you can play them on your Kindle. You can watch them if you want on the Sty North channel. So it's a big project, yeah. The Tickle Funny Bone says, no. The stories will not end. Running Water, and I could remind him of a story, and there will be another 250. Watch it, Tickle Funny Bone. That is so true. That is so true. Running Water and my youngest boy, Joe, they'll say things, and I'll go, oh, geez, that's right, yeah. And then I'll put it on my story list. So when I say 250, that's very, very subjective. Yeah, that could change. But I figure I've been hounded for years to write a book, and I'm not interested. Not interested. But running water and his skills, him, his literary side of things, has encouraged me to do this. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to get all the Sty stories all published and all broke out in volumes. I've enjoyed working on it so far. I've only worked on it a couple days, and I've got about 4 hours into doing 4 Sty stories, volume 1, chapter 1. But it's done. I'm on chapter 2, so it'll take a while. I'll probably be publishing these once a month over the next 12 months, depending on how long it takes. The coughs and lights of smoke, yeah. My last really bad vice in the world. Mr. Fulton, good to see you out there in the chat. I got to take a quick look at something here. Joe W. Life Adventures found out that our new Arby's sandwich can be a little messy. Like I said, I wish I could eat solid foods that way, because I felt good last night. I managed to get 6 pizza rolls, little pizza rolls, eaten. It only took me a half an hour to eat 6 of them, but I managed to get 6 of them eaten. That was good for a change. I don't. I just don't eat solids that much anymore. So that sandwich looks so doggone good, though. I'd like it. It's going to be kind of a waste of money. I'll buy one and I'll probably eat 1 or 2 bites out of it. Yeah, it tickled funny going. Jack Pine Savage, a lifelong buddy of mine. We grew up together, moved to Montana together. Him and I've already done some Sty stories that involve Jack Pine Savage. Yeah. He was a very, very dear friend. Very dear friend. Thanks, Sheba B. I hope people enjoy the Sty story series, the video series. You can turn it on for background stuff. It's, the only reason I'm doing it on the video side is really it gives me opportunity to where people want to just hear Sty stories. They don't want the live stream stuff, all the live stream stuff. They just want to hear the Sty story. So I figure, well, I'll compress them all and put them all into volumes. People can go and they can view and or hear all the Sty stories we've ever done. And I think it'll be fun. And again, good father and son project. I got running water right in the middle of it. Well, that's it, folks. That's it for today's show. It's been great. So many wonderful people out there in the chat today. It's such great conversations going on out there. I want you all to know Sty loves you as usual. Now, my next Sty Times, of course, is Friday. Tomorrow night, it's around the campfire, man. We're going to just hang out and chat, live stream, get some panelists up here and we'll chat away, and hope to see all of you there. Um, and then you're more than welcome, Tickled Funny, going up there. And and but Friday's topic, you're going to think this is crazy to come from this old man. We're just going to have fun with this topic. We're going to get serious, and then we're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun Friday. So watch at the end. Watch the credits at the end, and you'll see why Friday should be a pretty interesting show. So make sure when it gets posted that show's coming up. Share it out. Let the whole world know. They got to get over and check out Friday's show. And until then, you all stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Sty loves you. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.